The screen flickers to life, not with the usual scroll of social media clips or the latest international news, but with the solemn, formal broadcast of a state-owned Iraqi television network. The presenter's face is etched with a gravity that immediately tells you this is not ordinary programming. Then, the words flash across the screen, words that thousands, perhaps millions, have been waiting to hear for decades, words that have been the subject of endless forum speculation, clandestine meetings, and fervent hope. Prime Minister approves Iraqi Dinar currency reform plan 2025. Let that sink in for a moment. This isn't a rumor from a fringe blog. This isn't an unsubstantiated claim from a self-proclaimed guru in a YouTube comment section. This is an official, televised announcement from the highest level of the Iraqi government. And it signals a tectonic shift in the economic destiny of a nation that has been waiting in the wings for its comeback tour for over 2 generations. For those who have held on to the Iraqi dinar, for those who believed in the potential of a nation rising from the ashes of conflict and sanctions, this is the single most important development they could have ever hoped for. But what does this actually mean? Beyond the headline, beyond the shock value, lies a complex tapestry of economic strategy, geopolitical maneuvering, and a profound statement of intent from Baghdad to the entire world. The era of isolation is officially over, and Iraq is not just opening its doors for business, it is fundamentally restructuring its very identity within the global financial system. This announcement is the key that unlocks a future untethered from the burdens of the past, a past defined by a currency that was more a symbol of internal struggle than a tool for international commerce. Think about the journey of the dinar itself, once a powerhouse currency in the region, stronger than the US dollar at one point, only to be decimated by war, by sanctions that crippled the economy, and by decades of instability that made its value a subject of pity on the world stage. Holding dinar was an act of faith, a long-term bet on the resilience of the Iraqi people and the vast, untapped potential of their land, rich not just in oil, but in human capital and historical significance. And now, that faith appears to be on the verge of being validated in the most dramatic fashion imaginable. The Prime Minister, standing at a podium bearing the state seal, didn't just mention reforms, he approved a comprehensive plan, a detailed roadmap with a clear deadline 2025. This isn't a vague promise anymore. It's a policy with a timeline, and that changes everything. It means the government is now accountable to this goal. It means ministries are being mobilized, central bank officials are working overtime, and international financial bodies are almost certainly already in the room, providing technical assistance and guidance. The mention of 2025 is crucial because it's close enough to be urgent, yet far enough away to allow for the meticulous, complex steps required for such a monumental undertaking. This is not a flick of a switch, this is the careful rewiring of an entire national economy. They are talking about potentially moving from an exchange rate that has been artificially managed for years to one that is market-driven, a move that would signal incredible confidence to foreign investors. They are discussing the integration of modern banking technologies, the formalization of a massive informal economy, and the strengthening of the Iraqi dinar to a point where it can once again be a trusted store of value for its own citizens and for international traders. This is about sovereignty as much as it is about economics. A strong, stable, and internationally recognized currency is a declaration that Iraq is back in control of its own destiny. It means the government can fund its own reconstruction without being solely reliant on dollar reserves. It means Iraqi businesses can trade directly with their neighbors and the world without the constant fear of currency volatility. It means the average Iraqi citizen can save their money in their own currency with confidence for the first time in living memory. The psychological impact of this alone cannot be overstated. This is the moment where potential transforms into tangible, actionable reality. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, before we start dreaming of what comes next, we must understand the sheer scale of what has just been set in motion. This is where the real story begins, and it's a story you need to understand in its entirety. So, do me a favor. If you're as captivated by this historic turning point as I am, hit that like button and subscribe right now, because what I'm about to break down for you in the next segment is the intricate blueprint of this reform plan itself, the specific mechanisms they will use to make this audacious vision a reality, and you will not want to miss a single detail. So what is the actual architecture of this monumental reform plan? Let's pull back the curtain on the blueprint that the Iraqi government has set in motion for 2025, a plan that is far more sophisticated and multi-layered than a simple announcement of a new exchange rate. The core of this strategy rests on three fundamental pillars, each one critical to the plan's success and each one interconnected like pieces of a complex puzzle finally coming together after years of preparation. The first pillar, and the one that gets the most attention, is the move towards a market-driven exchange rate, effectively unshackling the dinar from the strict controls of the Central Bank of Iraq and allowing its value to be determined by genuine supply and demand on the global stage. This is a breathtakingly bold move that signals an immense level of confidence in the inherent strength of the Iraqi economy, particularly its oil and gas sector, which is now producing and exporting at levels not seen in decades. This isn't a decision made in a vacuum, it's the culmination of years of behind-the-scenes work, from clearing arrears with international creditors to building up substantial foreign currency reserves that can act as a buffer during the initial, potentially volatile, transition period. The government knows that simply decreeing a new value is a recipe for disaster. The value must be earned, and this move proves they believe they have done the work to earn it. The second pillar is perhaps the most crucial for long-term stability: the complete modernization and digitization of the Iraqi banking sector. For too long, the shadow of a vast, cash-based informal economy has hindered transparency, fostered corruption, and made it nearly impossible to implement effective monetary policy. This reform plan directly attacks that problem head-on. We are talking about a nationwide push for financial inclusion, incentivizing every Iraqi citizen to open a bank account, introducing secure digital payment platforms that can be used from a smartphone, and implementing robust international anti-money laundering standards. This does two powerful things simultaneously. It brings billions of dollars currently hidden under mattresses into the formal economy, creating a massive new pool of domestic capital for investment. And it sends a clear signal to institutions like the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank that Iraq is serious about transparency and governance. This legitimacy is the key that unlocks the third pillar, attracting serious, long-term foreign investment beyond the oil fields. With a stable, market-driven currency and a transparent, modern banking system, Iraq suddenly becomes an attractive destination for capital looking to fund everything from infrastructure projects and telecommunications to agriculture and manufacturing. The potential is staggering. Imagine the reconstruction of entire cities, the development of a national rail network, the creation of a tech hub in Baghdad. This is the endgame of the reform plan, to diversify the Iraqi economy so that the dinar's value is backed not just by petroleum, but by a thriving, multifaceted, and modern economic engine capable of providing jobs and prosperity for its young and ambitious population. This is about building a future that is no longer hostage to the fluctuations of the global oil market. The 2025 deadline is not arbitrary. It is aligned with broader strategic goals, including major infrastructure project completions and the anticipated full integration of the Iraqi economy into regional trade corridors. The government is creating a perfect storm of economic positivity where every element reinforces the other. A stronger dinar makes imports for reconstruction cheaper, which speeds up rebuilding, which creates jobs and boosts GDP, which in turn strengthens the dinar further. It's a virtuous cycle designed to create unstoppable momentum. This isn't just a financial adjustment, it's a national project of rebirth, and every single Iraqi is a stakeholder in its success. The plan is audacious, it's complex, and the risks are real, but the groundwork has been laid with a precision that has gone largely unnoticed by the outside world. Now that you understand the mechanics, the real question becomes, what does this mean for the global stage and for you? The implications are even more profound than you might initially think, and they extend far beyond the borders of Iraq, potentially resetting the balance of power in the entire Middle East. But before we explore that geopolitical earthquake, if this deep dive is giving you a clearer picture of the historic opportunity unfolding right now, then show this video some love in the comments section below with the word or IFOAM, and let me know your thoughts. This is a conversation we need to be having together. Now, let's project forward into the world that this reform plan is destined to create, a world where the new Iraqi dinar is not a symbol of potential, but an established fact of global finance. The implications of a successfully restructured and strengthened Iraqi currency send shockwaves far beyond the currency exchange counters. They fundamentally recalibrate the economic and political landscape of the entire Middle East and redefine Iraq's role on the world stage. Imagine an Iraq, no longer a supplicant but a sovereign economic powerhouse, engaging with its neighbors and international partners from a position of newfound strength and financial independence. This newfound strength translates into immense geopolitical leverage. A stable and economically vibrant Iraq becomes a cornerstone of regional stability, a crucial balancing power between its Persian and Arab neighbors, and a key ally for global powers looking for a reliable partner in a volatile region. The nation could finally leverage its vast natural resources, not just oil, but also immense reserves of natural gas, on its own terms, negotiating contracts in its own currency or a basket of currencies that includes the dinar, thereby reducing the decades-long dominance of the US dollar in its energy sector. This petrodollar shift, even if partial, is a game changer for global energy markets and a clear statement of strategic autonomy. Furthermore, consider the friendshoring trend, where nations seek to diversify their supply chains away from single sources. A financially stable Iraq, with its strategic location and young workforce, becomes a prime candidate for massive investment from powers like the European Union, China, and Turkey, all vying for influence and access. We could see the emergence of a new Silk Road, with Iraq at its heart, a hub for trade and logistics connecting Asia to Europe and Africa. This isn't just speculation, it's the logical culmination of the economic foundations being poured right now. The Renaissance won't be limited to boardrooms and government palaces. It will be felt on the streets of Baghdad, Mosul, and Basra. A stronger dinar means the cost of living, heavily influenced by imported goods, will begin to fall, increasing the purchasing power of every Iraqi family. It means the government, funded by a broader and more robust tax base from a formalized economy, can invest properly in healthcare, education, and critical infrastructure without printing money and causing inflation. It means the brain drain that has plagued the country for years could reverse, as talented doctors, engineers, and entrepreneurs see a future for themselves and their children back home, fueling a cycle of innovation and progress. This is the ultimate goal, a virtuous cycle of prosperity that secures a lasting peace. However, to be clear, this path is not without its perils. There will be entrenched interests who profit from the status quo and will resist these changes. There will be volatility in the early days of the flotation as the market finds its true level. External shocks in the global oil market or regional political instability could test the resolve of the government. But the difference now is that there is a clear, official, and publicly declared plan with the full weight of the Prime Minister's office behind it. The genie of reform is out of the bottle, and the expectations of the Iraqi people and the international community have been raised to a level that makes turning back politically impossible. This is a point of no return. The shock announcement on Iraqi TV was not the end of a story, it was the dramatic opening chapter of a new one, a chapter that you are now witnessing in real time. This is history unfolding before our eyes. The journey of the Iraqi dinar from a currency of hope to a currency of substance is entering its most critical phase. The world is watching, and for those with the vision to see the bigger picture, this represents one of the most significant economic transformations of the decade. The question is no longer if, but how, and the when is now 2025. This is your chance to be part of this conversation, to understand a world in transition. So, if this deep dive into one of the most pivotal moments in modern Middle Eastern history has been valuable to you, if you want to stay ahead of the curve on this and other global economic shifts, then I need you to take two simple actions. First, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because my channel is dedicated to bringing you this level of original, in-depth analysis you won't find anywhere else. And second, share this video with everyone you know who is interested in global affairs, finance, or history in the making. Share it on your social media, in your group chats, and start the conversation. Let them know where they can get the full, unfiltered story. The future is being written right now. Don't just watch it happen, be a part of understanding it.